Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live. We are live. Welcome to another episode of Comic
X
Weeb. That's right. So I got that wrong, and that's my bad. But we are the 13th episode of this podcast. We do it every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't, if you're new. And we are very excited for today because coincidentally and conveniently, today was dropped upon us a blessing of Marvel goodness, Marvel movie goodness, in the form of a little teaser and just like a hype video to get us back into the mood of movies. I think is really the main point of it. But just and also some like release dates, some actual movie title releases that we hadn't gotten before, a little teaser. I can't even call it really a teaser. It was like an amuse bouche. It was an appetizer. It was just, they give you like the little thing on a leaf before they serve you your real meal. That's what it's like. But we got that, and we have so much to discuss today. I'm very excited. I am your co-host, James, a.k.a. Comics for Cheap, a.k.a. Big Hands, Tiny Dick. No.
Alright.
I knew I'd get you with that one, bro. You remember that shit from Dakota? Like when he used to call me that shit, like way back when? Yeah, dude, I knew I'd get you on that one. Okay. All right, I have my co-host with me.
It's your boy Chris, a.k.a. Black Santa, a.k.a. Praise the Fantastic Four, a.k.a. Super Cold Water. Ooh. Album coming out 2039. Coming. It's coming. Okay. I know I got a lot of people sitting there complaining, saying, "Man, it's coming too soon. You need to figure something out, man. You ain't ready for it."
Too soon. Okay.
Don't worry. We got some teaser stuff coming soon too, so y'all can get nice and ready for it and everything. But that's it. We here.
18. I could raise a whole ass kid before your album comes out. That's 18 years.
Are you part of the team? Or are you against the team?
Bro, I'm part of the team. I'm just saying I'm raising a whole ass kid while I'm waiting for this album.
All right.
All right, so we got this beautiful Marvel trailer teaser thing that had just a whole bunch of kind of hyped scenes from what we had seen before in movies, like Endgame, and they released like a little bit of in theater footage of opening night and stuff, which was kind of cool to see. I really don't like seeing movies opening night, but I will admit that there is definitely like a buzz in the theater like when you go to see it. I just can't stand crowds or people. Yeah, so it's like if I go pay to see a movie and I'm going to see it, I don't want people talk. Like, that's just me. I don't want people talking. I don't want like to hear anyone else, laugh when it's appropriate or whatever. But like people talking or like teenagers on their phone or like all this other bullshit distracting me. That annoys the crap out of me. So, but it is still cool to see moments like that in the theater,
Nah, I'm with you, man. I miss those good old days where you go to a movie theater, you get up to that top seat all the way in the back, you watch your movie, you got your girl with you, y'all fool around a little bit, have a good time. Don't make no noise because you ain't trying to, and forget about getting in trouble, but you ain't trying to ruin nobody else's experience. And then you just go from there.
You see that Kevin Hart special where he's talking about putting his dick in the popcorn or whatever, the butter beat off?
I haven't seen that, but that sounds like something Kevin Hart would actually do.
He's got a new special on Netflix. I guess it's not that new, but he recorded it in his house. Like he invited people to his house where he's got like a theater or whatever. And he's talking about getting a butter beat off or whatever. And he's like, I didn't even know what that meant. My son had to teach me. And then he's like, I looked at my daughter. I was like, you ever do a butter beat off? And he's like, I'm just making sure that she ain't a hoe. You know what I mean? That shit cracked me up. But yeah, you do miss the experience a little bit going to the movies. That's like one of Alexis and I's favorite thing to do is to go to the movies. But of course, the last year and a half or so, haven't been able to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got to see a little bit of that, and then they hit us with like all the 5 seconds of Eternals footage. And
probably the one I'm definitely least excited for. Well, that and probably Thor are the 2 ones I'm not that excited for.
The Ian Lopez show was in the house, and he says the top seat in the back is for smoking weed and blowjobs.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. I ain't with the smoking part too much. I don't care if you do though. I ain't really smoking, but definitely had some fun with some girls handling their business while I'm, back there and enjoying the movies and all that good stuff. So that was definitely fun.
Top seat. Even if you go alone, you just unbutton your pants a little bit because you're about to eat all that food. You know what I mean? Like you gotta leave a little room for the belly to grow while you're well. I'm not saying you're gonna jerk off in the movie theater. I'm saying
I mean that's what I thought. It's like even if you go alone, you unbuckle your pants. I'm like, okay. Yeah. So like you talking experience or something, brother. But I mean, you gotta do, man.
What I'm saying is
you gotta be a squirrel chasing the nut. You gotta get your nut some way. So you do what you got.
Sometimes those Mike and Ikes just really excite me. You know what I mean? Like you get a box of Mike and Ikes, and you're like, oh yeah.
Okay, I guess you saw Scarlett Johansson doing some splits and everything, and you was like, bro, this is what I came for, bro. Let's get
literally, this is what I came for. Yeah, you thought the same thing. All right, but yeah, so we get all of 5 seconds of Eternals. You say you're not excited for Eternals. Why are you not excited for the Eternals?
I don't know, man. It's just something that I can't put my finger on it, but I'm just not super excited for it. And I don't really know why. I don't really have the biggest reason why, but I'm just not that excited for it. It's just
I think we could get the introduction of some badass villains from Eternals. I don't know how. I mean, I have a lot of, faith that it's not going to be a bad movie, right? We haven't seen too many terrible movies or anything come out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, especially as of late. Even Captain Marvel, which I wasn't a fan of, like still cinematically, it was shot very well. It was, it was still a good movie. I just didn't have any interest in that movie. So,
but yeah.
Oh, Ian is with you. Ian says Eternals is going to be the Marvel's first failure of 2021. Damn, up there.
Okay.
So, possibly we're gonna get introduced to the Celestials. We've seen one of them with Ego from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, or he came from a line of the Celestials. He basically was a god. I mean Thanos is descendant of the Eternals, of the Celestials, and so maybe we get someone who's on par with that. Maybe we get someone who's going to be a big bad for some of the Celestial stuff that we're going to be seeing with Thor, Guardians, and we'll talk about those in a second. But I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited to maybe get a hinting. I don't think we're going to get any hints of Silver Surfer or Galactus yet. I really don't think so. But just to maybe who's the next big bad going to be, or who are we going to get that's going to kind of integrate into some of the other movies and that we'll see in the future, because we are about to introduce a whole bunch of new characters. So
yes, we are.
Yeah, so I mean, we can't hate all of them. We can't just hate new characters because it's not the ones that we're used to seeing, right? Nah,
bro. If you've been a part of Dave Chappelle's Big Legion and you remember the Hate Club, you can hate anything.
We hate it all. I feel like Angelina Jolie, not how you spell the last name, by the way, Ian, just makes movies so fucking average. All right. Angelina Jolie is average. Okay. Or makes movies average.
Yo, way to be that guy to just try to embarrass somebody like that.
Look, Ian has been talking shit to me all day today, so I don't even want to hear any of it. So you can suck the backside of my dick on a Tuesday is all I'm saying. All right, so
what?
All right, so Eternals, okay, so no, I don't think anyone is super excited for it, but I think it might be a sleeper. I think it could surprise us and be like a really decent movie.
It could.
I'm 100% on board with Eternals. Oh, everyone's hating on Eternals. I'm 100% on board with the Eternals being a flop. The casting is just terrible. Okay. I don't know.
a lot of us aren't feeling it, man. It's just
Okay.
not. It's just not given the hype that other movies and other names have done in the past. That just
Right.
you just hear about it, you're like, man, I can't wait to see that. The
Right.
Eternals is like, because I mean, even in the comics, I mean, the Eternals have their moments, but they're not really built the best, and it's
Well, I was
not like a
gonna
lot of
say,
people
I mean,
like,
it's
oh my
a
god, I can't wait.
volume one is really what, like a 20 issue series. I mean, if that. So just to go back and you could read the Eternals front to back in a day, like it's nothing.
Right?
So
Yeah.
I mean they're not, I don't know, maybe part of it is that a lot of people aren't, a lot of casual people, maybe
I was
not
gonna say, especially the
not
casual fan, they don't really know
yeah,
anything. They're like, the
about the
Eternals?
Eternals. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Ian says, if I feel like if you don't know comics, you don't know who the fuck the Eternals are. Oh, exactly what we
True.
were just saying.
Yeah. This one is, yeah,
Comics
it's
Weeb
100 right.
told me to buy all the Mephisto I can in his video. That's right.
Bro, gotta get that Mephisto,
Gotta
bro.
get,
He's gonna
gotta
be
get,
popular.
gotta get the
I
Mephisto.
saw it on a YouTube video, so I know it's true. Very reliable source too. That
That's
guy knew
right.
what he was talking about.
He knew he was just a regular guy selling some books. He
Yeah,
knew.
yeah. Amazing white shirt and everything. Good guy.
So yeah, so that is, I think that might be part of it, is that a lot of casual people don't know who the fuck the Eternals are. Really
Right.
don't know the storyline. Even I can't go ahead and tell you like the intricate details of Eternal stories, like without going back and rereading some storylines first. And I
I
do
mean,
actually
I
plan
can,
on.
but it's just not interesting.
Yeah.
I don't really find their stories that interesting. I'll be
Mhm.
honest. I've never read an Eternal story, and I was like, oh my god, this was so amazing. Like, it's something I feel like talking about. It was just like, all right, that happened. Now I look more forward to what other people, and it's somewhat what you said earlier. This
Okay.
can set up for other people,
Mhm.
but this doesn't really necessarily set up for like in Eternals 2. You're more looking at it as, well, let's see what this set up for other characters. And that's
Yeah.
kind of, to me, somewhat of a problem, where it's not like, oh man, let's let this be the Eternals, then we'll build off of Eternals 2 and maybe something else crazy, and them doing some stuff. No, it's like, well, let's see what they can do for other people.
Yes.
Like,
Well,
that's
exactly. Yeah. So we'll do for other people, and also just build maybe like one or two characters that are really going to come out strong from this movie. It is definitely going to be a setup movie. I mean, think about how Iron Man was. Iron Man was a setup movie. You can't just sit here and tell me that
but
Obadiah
at the
Stane
same
was the
time,
greatest villain of all
it
time.
was still built for Iron Man 2. And then
Yeah.
you still had him in a bunch of people movies. It's still him
True.
in their
This is
movies.
facts.
Where this
Yep.
is just kind of different, where it's like you're not going to see anybody from the Eternals in like everybody's movie.
JVK's dad says, "Remember that classic Eternals moment in the comic that you hope to see brought to life on the big screen?" Yeah, me neither. All right, so we know how everybody feels about the Eternals. I'm with you guys. Like, I'm not sleep. I think it could still be a sleeper, like a good movie. I think that cinematically, I think we might see some awesome shots. I mean, especially interstellar space type camera work. But yeah, like, I mean, I can't sit here and like list off all of the Eternals characters' names. I don't think, well, a lot of people can. I don't know what storyline they're gonna go with. I think there's a lot of I think there's just too much that we don't know. So if we get someone who can do it like James Gunn did the Guardians of the Galaxy, then we might have a winner. Because nobody knew who the fuck the Guardians were until that movie. You know what I mean? Like, even some of the hardcore fans weren't excited about Guardians of the Galaxy, and it's just like, so, Ian says, God-like characters aren't that interesting. They are always the supporting characters that the struggling hero needs help from. Okay. Well, we're going to get a lot of godlike characters because we got a confirmation of Zeus coming to the MCU in Thor: Love of Thunder. So we're getting Zeus, which probably means we're getting Hercules. So we are getting some godlike characters for sure, besides just Thor and Loki. Obviously, we have the Loki show that's coming out in a month, I think, in June.
Okay.
And maybe that'll have, I don't know, a hinting or something towards what's going to go on in the Eternals. Probably not. I think they have their own shenanigans with the time variance authority and all the time travel stuff.
Yeah, it's probably going to be very heavy on that kind of stuff. But I want to go back. You was saying that. So do you think the Eternals are going to introduce the next big bad, or do you think they're just going to introduce like mini basically mini bosses for other people movies.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be like the next big bad. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like, I don't know, whoever they think is gonna be the Thanos
The next
level
Thanos.
of threat. Yeah, I don't like whether it's gonna be Beyond or Galactus, whoever they think it's gonna be.
Right.
I don't know if that's gonna come out of this movie, but I do think we will see a villain that will have a multi-movie appearance. I think. I mean, that's just, my opinion. At least 2 or 3 characters that we're gonna see in the future, just to kind of help build them up a little bit with this movie. A little bit of backstory, a little, help bridge the gap of what's going out in space. That way we know what they're talking about in like Thor or Guardians, or whatever comes next, even all the way to Ant-Man Quantumania once we start leaping through dimensions and stuff.
I mean, maybe if it was me, I would kind of make this movie, I guess, somewhat of a sacrifice movie, in terms of I would use this movie just to hype up other movies. And mainly, the person I would hype up would be Galactus. I would use this movie to mention and talk about how big and bad he is. And then I would go into what you were saying, have the Guardians of the Galaxy be the first one to kind of show him in some shape or form, or maybe even, maybe something similar to how, like, I think, what wasn't Avengers, the first Avengers movie where they showed Thanos at the end? Was it that, or was it another movie?
Yeah, that where he's in the chair and he's like, "Fuck it, I'll do it myself."
As a credit thing. Yes, it could be like a throwback to Thanos in a way, a little nostalgia trip a little bit, but you can have him show up at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, and then that can lead into his real first appearance being in Fantastic Four. And then you can kind of go from there. Obviously, you don't have him go down in any of those movies. It's just more of like him showing up and Silver Surfer and things like that. You can have Surfer come up at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy and be like, yo, some interesting things have happened. And then you can have Thanos Galactus kind of, his face just kind of comes in there and he's just like, now tell me what has went down. Something like that. Like, he kind of feeds some information to something. And then you can also kind of do that again. Even if you don't even show his face, you can have a silhouette in that one and show his face in Fantastic Four as Silver Surfer's telling him what's going on with Reed and how interesting he thinks the Fantastic Four is, to kind of build up to the big history between the Fantastic Four and Galactus. I would do something like that. So I would definitely start it in the Eternals of really building it up. It's like, we don't need him to come back. Like, we don't need him to get hungry and come over here. Like, we need to do, like, it's just something. Again, I would do something like that, but
that would be really cool. If I don't know how early they're going to bring Galactus in, and then the other thing is, as far as using Galactus for a big bad, I mean, I'm on board with it. I'm down with it, but like, you got to think about Galactus is not necessarily like, his intentions aren't really evil. He's just self-sustaining his own hunger. So whether it's basically like how Loki said, does an ant have a quarry with a boot? It's basically how Galactus looks at the universe, is just, I need food, I'm coming for food. So as far as villain wise, if they keep him on par with the comics accurately, we're gonna need another big bad. We're gonna need someone else in there that's more interesting, that is evil, that does want to take over something or fight or whatever, that they're gonna have problems with, that are a little more complicated, I think.
I mean, I think you can still have Galactus be the end boss, and you can have somebody else be like a mini boss to him, to be the guy who's there to build up a lot of that stuff. Because you can still have the hero still have to fight against this dude, because his next target could be Earth. Right. Whether it's fair or not, his next target could be that planet. And it's going to have to eventually be Earth at some point in time. But it could be other planets, and then, like, the Guardians of the Galaxy or any of these guys are like, look, we can't have him do this, whether he's not evil or not. And you can even have debate between certain characters who are just like, should we be trying to kill him? And then other people are like, no, we should take him down. We have to kill him. And you can even have Reed like, I don't think it's a good idea for us to kill him, and kind of go into backgrounds of like, this is what I've studied and found out since I found out about him. And you can have like a conflict between certain guys. Like, I think we should kill him. I think we shouldn't kill him. And kind of have a conflict where maybe you can lead to maybe another thing of heroes fighting each other a little bit. It could be certain. I think you can still do some cool stuff. It's just you can't have. My biggest thing is, I would be pissed if Galactus is not the big bad unless you have somebody much stronger than him. But if you do that, then
where do you go from there?
Where do you go from there?
Right. Where do you go from? Well, I mean, it's honestly
bosses like that in a very short amount of time. That's kind of crazy.
Right. No, that's true. That's true as well.
And you might have to rush one of the other a little faster than you might want to instead of giving them the time you kind of gave Thanos.
Well, Thanos took like 3 phases, so we got to remember that too. So Galactus can still take 3 phases to really play out. We could be talking about another 13 years of movies before we have a battle with Galactus. That's plenty of time to build up a couple other villains as, you know, as good playable everything like you're saying, and then still have time where it's not like you're just jumping from huge bad to huge bad to huge, like, you know, like it is hard to outdo the last one once you're getting on par with like Thanos and Galactus and Beyonder and you know, these huge characters. Let's see what we got in the chat here. JB Hayes' dad says, my theory, Galactus was killed in the snap and was finally released from his hunger. When he comes back in the blip, he is pissed and seeks to learn who is responsible for his resurrection on Earth. Ooh, that would be kind of crazy. That's interesting. If you snapped out Galactus, though, and then, you know,
that would be kind of my only thing. It's like, I don't know if I would want him to be snapped out of existence and then brought back like that. I don't know if I would want that to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting, though. All right, so Eternals, we'll see.
He can still have the thing of wanting to know what the hell happened without him being affected in terms of him being snapped out. He could have seen what
maybe he got hungry.
Because remember, because this is another big issue. Because remember, if Galactus is tucking out and he's gone, that causes big problems for the entire universe.
Right, right. Because we see what happens.
Galactus has to be there.
Has to exist. Yes.
Catastrophic issues. So to me, it's like if he was snapped out, that would have been a much bigger problem than fucking Thanos. A much bigger problem. Right. And that would have definitely, because remember, it took a couple of years before they even handled the situation. Right?
Oh, yeah.
So there's no way you can explain to me that, Galactus was gone. And I'm not saying it was a bad idea. Still a cool idea. I'm just saying there's no way you can explain to me like, Galactus was gone and nothing happened. Hell no.
How about Galactus stays, but, you know, half of life is gone. So now Galactus is hungrier because the planets he's devouring are only half the nutrition.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, he could still be like, what the hell went down? Like,
yeah, he's like, motherfucker.
Right. And then he hears from something. It's hero stuff. So there could be some fucking Han Solo type smuggler around the world sitting there like, yo, Galactus, I heard there's some dude on Earth who caused this situation. You know, I'm just saying, that's what I heard. I ain't snitching.
He's snitching. He's snitching out here. we got an intergalactic snitch that we got to take care of.
Daddy Galactus, please don't destroy my planet.
All right, so we have Eternals, which we've gotten the feeling of everyone's not super excited, but we'll see what happens. We have Black Widow, obviously. It's been delayed for over a year, and we'll see what happens with that. That's, I think, before the Eternals. Then we have Spider-Man: No Way Home coming out in December, right? And we've been talking about this one.
Yeah.
You know, we are all excited. Nobody knows what exactly is going to happen. We have theories that he's going to jump through the multiverses trying to fix some kind of rift with the help of Doctor Strange, and that's why we're going to see some of the past Spider-Man / their villains, but I really think they're only going to get a few minutes of screen time each. You know, maybe like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, that type of thing. That movie, I think, is going to have a lot of hype. I think it's going to be very exciting. And with Marvel having already said that they have had the most input with this movie, we've gotten a Lego leak. God damn it. We just talked about this, Chris.
We did. We got
a Lego leak that Venom and Carnage are part of the Spider-Man universe now.
Your favorite thing.
Bro, I was pissed. I was like, bro, we were just fucking talking about this. So so now that Marvel is a lot more involved with Sony, we're probably going to see Spider-Man show up in the Venom film, and we have just they're more in it. I am glad that Marvel and Sony are collaborating better together. We're getting the Spider-Man movies on Disney Plus. That's exciting. That's a good deal. Yes. They have more input in story. That's exciting. That means the movie's not going to suck. and we'll just go from there. Especially the Venom 2. If the Venom 2 movie, I think is going to be pretty good as well.
Still waiting for that trailer.
Still waiting for a goddamn trailer.
But I do want to say this though about the Black Widow movie, because I don't think I've ever said it on camera. I've told you before, but I still would love for them to do something like I think we got somebody here. I think they should do, like I told you before, I think it would be really cool, at least. Like, I would love it if before, like, this movie is basically taking place as a flashback before she died. Like, while she was falling, this whole thing is taken back. Like, you see your whole life flash before your eyes, and this is the moment that hit her, and she's remembering everything. So then you go through the whole movie, and then at the end, that's when she hits, and then she dies. And then, I think that would be a really cool. I think that would be a really cool dark, but I still think that would be a really dark to some people. But I think that would be a really cool thing to do. Yeah. I mean, not to me, but to some people, I can see that.
It's like a mochaccino. It's kind of dark.
A little bit. I love to say, you're a little softy. You know what I'm saying? I think that would be really cool if they did that. And then while she was dead, maybe one of the end credit scenes, one of them, if you want to have multiple, could be her meeting dead Gamora. And maybe Gamora telling her, there's a way we can get out of this. And you can hint towards Black Widow's return, as well as that Gamora's return. I think that would be really neat.
Interesting. Yeah. To come back.
That would be kind of cool. Yeah, because I mean,
would that be how
they're going to keep Black Widow dead forever?
Right.
Like, I know they're probably going to switch her with the other girl. That's probably a possibility. But I'm saying I don't think they're going to keep the one that we know dead forever. So this could be a really cool way of saying, hey, I might have a way.
Good way to introduce Warlock if they were going to talk about as far as like getting people out of the Soul Stone.
I'm saying that can be. You can even have him. I was going to go ahead. You can even have him, a silhouette of him, be there, or you can have her say, hey, I think we have a way. I think I might have a way out of here. We need to go talk to a friend I made in here.
That would be interesting. I didn't even think about it like trying to bring them back as characters for the future. We did get to see a Cocoon. What was it, the end of Guardians 2? Was the little end scene was the Cocoon for Warlock. They never really name him or anything. But I think it was like
2, wasn't it?
I think it was, Guardians 2. So they were considering for sure bringing him in. So maybe that's how that circles back around. That would be interesting. That's a good thought. I really like that. That's But then that would cause conflict, obviously, with the new Gamora, and Chris Pratt would just be able to have a threesome with both Gamoras, man. Like, that's what I'm saying, dog. Like, look, it ain't cheating if it's the same girl. Like,
I mean, that's a very interesting situation. I don't know how that would. I mean, I would be game for it if I'm him. I'm like, hey, ladies, let's figure this out together.
Look, but let's go into the bedroom and resolve this.
We resolve all this pinned up, aggression and tension you guys got going on here.
Shit.
I got exactly what you need. He just starts zipping his pants down. Let us go, my ladies. But no, like I think that would be freaking awesome if they was to do something like that. Definitely with like conflict between the two Gamoras. Conflict between Star-Lord on what's going on, especially if he got feelings for the current one that's here now, and then the old one comes back, and then it's like, what the hell?
Well, of course he's gonna try to woo the new Gamora, and of course, being as she is the same Gamora, just in the past, brought to the future, she is going to have feelings for him back. It might take a little time or whatever, but that's it. I'm sure they're gonna explain it or whatever, but. Yeah, that would definitely be interesting to then have the other Gamora come back. Yeah,
that would be cool. And let's say everything works out, and then you bring Gamora, you bring Widow back. Let's say they was brought back. Somebody interfered and brought them back, not exactly the way they was before they died. So they're not as good as they was. Maybe they're a little evil now. And then the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy have to fight against their former friends. Like, I think that would be really cool, man.
That would be dope. Yeah. Drax would be standing so still, no one can see him, just watching the Star-Lord sandwich.
Yes, his amazing ability.
Bro, that scene is still like one of the funniest things.
It
I'm pretty
is.
sure that nobody can see me. And he's like,
Yeah, that was great. I really loved that. That was
oh man, that's good. All right, so from Spider-Man No Way Home, we go
Mhm.
right into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which is coming in March of 2022. Being as it's going to go Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, that makes me think there's going to be crossover on both sides. Doctor Strange helping out Spider-Man, maybe even Spider-Man having a cameo in Doctor Strange would be pretty cool. I'm excited to see Benedict Cumberbatch come back on the big screen. By the way, speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, I don't know if you've noticed that the New York Rangers head coach looks exactly like Benedict Cumberbatch. I am not even playing with you. It's like he's trying to do it on purpose. I'm pretty sure every time Alexis and I watch a Rangers game and it goes to the bench, I'm like, what is Doctor Strange doing coaching the New York Rangers?
Yo, he needed a part-time job, you know.
Yeah. He is in New York, you know. He's like, man, we're taking some time off. You know, I lost the time stone. I'm coaching the Rangers. You know, we having a good time. You know, it's cool. I just had to point that out. If you go watch or just look him up, just afterwards. The New York Rangers coach. I don't even remember what his name is because it's like a very common name. But it's he looks exactly like Benedict Cumberbatch. It's the funniest thing in the world. All right, so we have Doctor Strange.
I would say this. I would say this real quick. What do you think of this? If they was to do somewhat what they did in like the original, Civil War, or whatever, at the end, because Peter he gave out his identity. Doctor Strange was the one who erased everybody's memory of that. Do you think they're going to do that maybe in Spider-Man's movie where Doctor Strange shows up and he just erases everybody's memory of knowing Peter's identity? And then that could be maybe a way where Peter pays him back in the Doctor Strange movie if he makes a cameo.
Kind of forgot that happened. Yeah, I think that is that makes sense. I think that might Damn, Chris, giving out the spoilers. Ahead of time. I know the comics have already been out. I forgot about that though. That's a really good point. That Doctor Strange might just show up and be like, "Abracadabra, y'all forget, bitch."
Right, exactly.
Or whatever the incantation is. I'm pretty sure that's close.
Yeah. I think it's what you said.
So I think that could be what happens. And then with Multiverse of Madness, now we're bringing Scarlet Witch back into the game because she is confirmed for that movie. Now we're gonna get the evil. I think we're gonna get evil Scarlet Witch. We're playing with the Darkhold book of spells, so that's gonna be interesting. Bringing in Chthon, possibly Mephisto or Nightmare.
Nightmare.
Yeah, it's probably gonna
loves the fist people.
The big Fisto.
The big Fisto.
It's probably gonna be Nightmare. I think Nightmare is the one that they said, right? Is the Nightmare is who they confirmed. And Wanda. We might still get a hint of a Mephisto, or they're just gonna keep it as a running joke to keep making hints at Mephisto and then never actually bring him in. That's what they should do, dude. Marvel would be the ultimate troll for that shit if they keep dropping these blatant ass hints. Like, you know how he's on the stained glass window in that Loki trailer or whatever? Like, that's Mephisto on that thing. You can't tell me anything else. I get that they're in church and it's the devil, but the way that he's drawn or whatever, that's Mephisto. If they keep doing shit like that, but then never actually bring him in, I think that would be the funniest fucking troll.
That would be hilarious. They just keep and just get more blatant every time they do it. And just
someone says something that sounds like Mephisto and someone turns around and be like, "What's Mephisto?" And they're like, what are you talking about? And then they never mention it again.
You have Doctor Strange just come around, he's like, Mephisto. And then out of nowhere, someone, what's a Mephisto? Huh?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say, my fist is hurting.
Yeah, my fist is hurting. Ho.
What are you talking about? Yeah, my fist, ho. New cantation. I got a question. Do you think that they might do something where it's okay, so how Scarlet Witch was no more mutants. Do you think they might make her be the one to introduce mutants?
We were talking about like that they were incubating either mutants or Inhumans when when the WandaVision show was on.
Right.
I honestly think that she would be the key. I really think. I mean, with her and the transformation of Spectrum with Monica, I think she's obviously got the power to do something, but I know there's a mutants project in development, right? And I know that they were talking about like a Wolverine anthology, even though that's still rumors and not confirmed.
Right.
I think they're leaning towards it, they're building towards it. I just don't think that they're going to like dive into it. I mean, maybe they will, but I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just have to see. But I do think Wanda's going to have a big part in what's coming as far as mutants and everything, especially with the House M storyline where she just obliterates the mutants. No more mutants.
Right. I don't care what anybody say. Charles should have rolled his ass up in that damn series at the end of that thing and was like, I'm going to help you control your powers. You're going to come with me, my lady. Like, that should have happened. I'm still pissed at it.
JBK's dad, remember, Peter made a deal with Mephisto to sacrifice the love of MJ and their marriage to save her life in one more day.
Well, it was to
save... You think Mephisto is going to come into Spider-Man? Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know.
It could be, but if I remember right, was it to save Mary or was it to save Aunt May?
I thought it was to save Aunt May.
I believe it was to save Aunt May. Yeah, it was to save Aunt May. It was to save Aunt May's life.
That was like a ridiculous storyline where like
that's
Aunt
one
May
of the dumbest storylines. Yeah, no one likes that storyline because it was really dumb, and it was one of those things where it was just created so you can keep the stupid trope of superheroes can't be happy. They can't have a happy like love life or whatever the case may be for too long. Yeah, it was just bad.
It was May. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he does make the deal. I do remember him making the deal to save Aunt May. I was like, did he do the same deal to save MJ too? I couldn't remember that one.
Yeah, because when he was like her, I was like, no, I think it was Aunt May. So yeah, it was like you said, yeah, it was definitely Aunt
honestly,
May.
If MJ died, Peter would just be like, you know what, fuck it. At that point, he'd just be like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, my real love was Gwen Stacy anyway.
He's hung himself with his own web. It's like, oh
damn. he's like my real love was Gwen Stacy anyway. I'll probably fuck Black Cat one more time. I really love MJ. She was just kind of there. She's kind of cute. And that's gonna be the end of that.
And then Miles Morales shows up.
That's right. And then Craven's like, this was my plan all along. And then however he said, I've got my vodka. This was my plan all along, as he says in his Russian accent. That was a terrible Russian accent, but it's cool. Yes. and then Miles.
Unlike you, I'm supportive. So that was the best damn Russian accent you're gonna hear on YouTube. Anyway.
Bro, you remember, speaking of Russian accent on YouTube, you remember that dude, the Soviet dude, or what do he call himself? He was like, he was fake Russian. Like, he was not Russian. He lived just in the middle of nowhere, and he just shot guns and like explosives. And he would do it with a weird Russian accent. And he was like this huge, someone's gonna know what I'm talking about. He's this huge YouTube channel forever. And I can't remember, he was like My Soviet something or Soviet whatever it was like the weirdest thing, and all he did was like shoot, and it just got stranger and stranger with like the giant weapons that he would bring into these videos, and he'd just be shooting like mannequins and stuff like that with like napalm, dude. Like, he was going ham. Like, he
does this have like a bad ending? Like, the police came up on this dude and was like,
he did get in trouble. I know he got in trouble for something. I don't know. I know a lot of his licenses stuff were probably legit. Obviously, if he was a huge, like I said, he was huge on YouTube. I can't remember, but something happened towards the end, and I know he was exposed for not being Russian, but he continued the weird Russian accent anyway. And then something happened, and his channel died. But oh my gosh, that just reminded me, like, the best Russian accent on YouTube. Like, nope, there's actually one crazier.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But
all right. Side stories. aside, we go from Doctor Strange, and then we have Thor: Love and Thunder. That's coming out
Now,
in
this was the one that
May.
you said you wasn't excited about, right?
Not that excited, man. It's going to
What's
be done
up?
by
Why not?
Taika Waititi. He said he just announced, I think, recently that he's got another 4 weeks of filming left. Okay, so we're getting. I don't know, man. We're getting Jane Foster as Thor. Like that's
Yeah.
pretty much confirmed. We have Christian Bale as Gore. That part I'm pretty excited about. We got to remember that Christian Bale, even though he's like a total dick in real life,
Oh
this
my
man
God.
has won Oscars for supporting roles. Like, so it doesn't matter what he does, he is totally committed to the role. He
He's
has
a good
changed
actor.
his appearance. Yeah, he's a great actor. He's changed his appearance. He's dropped weight. He looked like a crackhead in The Fighter with Mark Wahlberg because he was a crackhead in that movie. That was absolutely a stunning performance by him. If you guys haven't seen The Fighter, that is one of the greatest movies. And like, I'm not even a big fan of Mark Wahlberg, but that movie was just fantastic. And then like to go from that, obviously he made a really good Batman. He did really well. God, there was another movie where he had to like fight his way through something to save someone that was like absolutely insane. I can't remember the name of it, but he was like in trouble with gangs or something. Like someone was in trouble and he had to fight like all these organized crime mob type people. The dude is an incredible actor, is what I'm trying to say. So we have him as Gore, the God Butcher. So I think that part will be exciting.
Okay.
I Natalie Portman just better get in the game. She better like really want to do this role. Is all I'm saying. If she's coming back and playing Jane, and she gives some like crap performance like Pepper Potts, whatever the fuck her name is, who can't even remember what movie she's been in. If we get some kind of attitude like that, then I'm gonna be pissed. That's all. That's why I'm not super excited for it, because like she was not super excited for her past appearances in Thor. So why should I be excited for this appearance in Thor?
Well, I guess the only difference is going to be in those past movies, she didn't really do much. But in this movie, obviously, she's going to probably take over more of a leading role.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not very excited about that because I didn't like the Jane Foster run as Thor at all anyway. I don't think
you didn't like that at all?
I didn't like that run at all. I just found it to be boring. And I was happy when Thor came back and stopped being Odin's son, which I can't stand the name Odin's son. I just think that's stupid. I was happy when he came back and became Thor again. I was very happy with that. I just didn't like her run. To me, it was just boring. I just didn't find it interesting, and I just couldn't get into it. So I definitely enjoyed when Thor came back and he was Thor.
Right.
So
then there was
I don't have any excitement for this movie, honestly. I don't think I haven't really saw a Thor movie where I was like, this is good. Like they're not bad movies again, but none of the Thor movies
Thor 1 and 2,
like, man, this was amazing. To me, they were the weakest ones in all of the multi-movie people stuff had. So I'm not excited for this one either.
Yeah. We had like an on-set picture of Chris Hemsworth in a vest, which made everyone freak out about Thunderstrike, Eric Masterson, everything like that, saying that may be the future for him. While Jane holds the hammer of Thor. I think that was overhyped, kind of a leap there. I'm not sure about that part of the speculation. I'm with you though. Like I'm not hyped about that story. I'm not hyped about Jane as Thor. I am hyped about Christian Bale as Gore though. That is like the one part that I'm like, let's see. Let's see what if he can save the whole movie, because I mean he is the type of actor that can save a movie, but we'll see. I mean, it is Taika Waititi too, so he's a really good director. He's the one who did Ragnarok. So I know you didn't like Ragnarok. We've discussed in the past our conflicting opinions of Ragnarok, but
I think the only thing we can agree on with that is that the tragedy and the disrespect they gave Hulk.
Yes, for sure. But we do have him as the director, so at least we're not changing director as well. Because that could lead to its own disaster.
It always do, especially in video games, when their director or the person who's in charge of a lot of the stuff leaves. Then that's when you start seeing things go really bad with game creations as well as movies too.
Right. So I guess that one is definitely not going to be like on my leap to go watch it
Mhm.
list, but of course I'm still gonna watch it and see
Right.
what goes down. Then we get a title for the new Black Panther movie called Wakanda Forever. And that one is coming out in July of next year. So we get Wakanda Forever, and that
Forever.
is in July. I am very excited for. I think
Mhm.
the one that I have watched the most is probably Black Panther. Out of like the
Really?
whole all the movies so far to this point, maybe Civil War would be the only other one that I've watched more than Black Panther, but it would be
Really?
close. And
Mm.
Black Panthers comes in Civil War anyway. So
Right.
between those two, Black Panther is probably the one that I have watched the most if it's not Civil War.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It
Okay.
was such a
Yeah,
good
I'm
movie.
excited for that one too.
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, we'll finally get the answer to whether they give it to us earlier or we wait until next year to get it. We will get the answer to what the hell they're going to be doing next with the
Yep. Whether yeah,
Black Panther
now
character.
again, the rumors being that they are going to be recasting. So that has come back into circulation, even
Which
though
again,
we
I feel they have to. I will not. I'm sorry. Again, I don't care if it sounds heartless or bad. You can't just say we're just this like Black Panther's going to ever be with Chad. Like rest in peace to his soul. But that's a terrible idea. That's just
Mhm.
not smart business at all. Neither. Like
Right.
yeah, it makes some people happy, but in a business, like you can't make like a few people happy and not the majority. You have to think about it smart, and that's just a stupid thing to do. Like you
Yeah.
have no choice. You have to recast. You can't have one person be like that's their role for all of eternity. Because then, if that's the case, then you're never gonna have another Batman role. You're never gonna have another
Right.
Superman role. You're never gonna have another like that's just not how that works ever.
Mhm. I'm coming
So
around to the idea of having of recasting Black
got to
Panther.
yeah.
I'm coming around to it. I think that having whether they bring back because I know Michael B. Jordan was like kind of hinting at maybe he would come back in the next Black Panther movie or whatever, and it's like okay that'd be cool, but as as Black Panther, it would just be very strange and a lot to catch up. It would make more sense, obviously, if they're not going to recast him to go to Shuri as Black Panther. Although I don't know how long that would last. Like we said, it didn't last too long in the comics,
Yeah,
and
that
we'll
really
see
was
if it lasted long on. I like the character. I like the actress who plays Shuri a lot. I
I
think
do too. I like the
she's very
character too.
charismatic and really
Yeah.
stands out on screen. But I
Yeah,
think
but
I'm
it's just
coming
like
around to we need to. I think we're gonna have to recast. Unfortunately, whether or not because Kevin Feige was very quick to say that we are not recasting. Like it was pretty instant where he was like, "We're not recasting at all."
and I
Period.
felt that was his emotions taking over and just not being
Yeah,
smart with it. Like I understand again, that was your friend. He did a great job. I
he did a
get
great
that.
job.
I don't want to sound heartless, like, oh, he didn't matter. He was great, man. He was fucking awesome and one of the best actors in all of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, all of it.
Mhm.
But it's like you can't just be like, I'm never gonna recast that particular role. This is different for if it was like a podcast and one of your podcast partners left for whatever reason, you're like, I'm not gonna have another part. That's different. This is very different. Like you have to recast this specific role.
Right.
Because definitely consider how this wasn't like a side character who no longer has any use moving forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You have to have a Black Panther at this point. You can't not have a Black Panther for the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. That's just not good
Oh
business.
yeah, for sure.
So you have to do something, whether that's have series take over or just recast. And eventually you
JDK's
have to
dad,
recast anyway.
right, says Wakanda Forever may be a prequel about past kings. That way, more time will pass to allow the public to embrace the idea of recasting T'Challa with Kevin Hart.
Oh
No,
my
we are
god, no.
not recasting T'Challa
No.
with Kevin Hart.
Yeah, dude,
No,
imagine how funny every single scene would be if he's standing next to anybody.
bro, you'd have to put him on a
He's
ladder
a short guy
for
looking up at every single character
any
next to him.
part. It doesn't matter. You'd have to put him on a step stool or something.
They'd be like, "Damn, T'Challa, you got real small. What happened, man? Did we get taller?
Everyone's just talking,
smaller?"
and then the camera has to pan out whenever Black Panther talks, and then it comes back into like them talking.
My man is eye to eye with Raccoon. Like, no, man, come on, bro. Like, nah, man, nah, we can't do that. Bro.
He is in good shape. I'll give him that, but
he's in great shape, and he would definitely be hilarious.
He's old. First of all, like he's getting up there in age, and second of all,
Chadwick wasn't that young neither, though.
I'm not saying that Chadwick was like 20, but he
wasn't he in his 40s?
Was he? He wasn't 50.
Is Kevin Hart in his 50s?
Isn't he?
I don't know.
I think he is. He looks good, but I think he's 50. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That dude is. Sure?
He's got money, so he looks younger. He's eating fetuses
or
whatever.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever the elite do.
That's about his age because he got money. Yeah, I got
you. Whatever the elite do, suck stem cells out of aborted fetuses or whatever they do to stay young. It's just they film it like The Hobbit, messing with the camera angles to make everyone look smaller and Kevin look bigger. He is just really advocating for Kevin. That would be a lot
really
of money.
He wants it. It's just the problem is you literally can't have this man stand next to anybody in a shot. Like you have to do a lot of camera work every time he's on screen because even if he's standing next to Brie Larson, she's going to be looking down at him. Like we got a problem here.
And speaking of Brie Larson, the next movie after Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is The Marvels, coming out in November of next year. Now, this one I know Chris is looking forward to the most. So,
there's a lot of movies I'm noticing I'm not very excited for.
Yeah, I was gonna say this one. This is like Chris's favorite one that he's looking forward to. So I'll let you go ahead and talk about why you're really looking forward to this one.
Okay, yeah. So why I'm so looking forward to this movie is because I really didn't like the first one. Again, like James said earlier, it wasn't a bad movie. It's just it was boring. It was a very boring movie, and I think that one of the biggest problems is Captain Marvel in general is a boring character. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes she'll have some funny little one-liners, but in comics she's boring. I can't think of a story that was good and engaging that it was a Captain Marvel story where she wasn't just featured in. Mm-hmm. Like even when she think about it like this. The second Civil War, which was more of Iron Man versus Captain Marvel. Do you hear anybody really talk about that?
No.
Because she really brought that whole thing down. The only thing that was interesting about it was that led to Iron Man, Tony, going into a coma. Outside of that, and that led to, future stuff and Ironheart and all that stuff. Outside of that kind of stuff, like that whole story is just completely forgettable. And she's really one of the biggest reasons it's forgettable. She might be the biggest reason it's forgettable.
Even though some people are thinking that like we're leaning towards a possible second Civil War somewhere in the next few phases, like people still aren't excited about picking up Civil War 2.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly like what you're saying.
Story, and she's the main reason why it's born. She's a boring character, so I want to see it.
What do you think they're going to do with this one? Because it's called Marvels. We've gotten a leak shot of Kamala Khan in costume. So Ms. Marvel with the lightning bolt, the blue. It actually looked pretty cool. Like some people were like, "Oh, blah blah blah, the costume's not perfect." It's like, bro, you know how much they do in post? Like, come on, man. Like, it's gonna look pretty cool on screen if it already looks pretty accurate in person. Right. You know it's gonna look
early. You have a lot of time to change how the costume.
You got one person like sneaking a picture on the street of a character and probably cropping it and zooming in so that you can tell what it is, and you're already hating on it. It's like, come on, dude. Like,
that could be like an alpha version of what the costume is, and not the actual finished product of what it's gonna be.
Right, exactly. So we have her. She's going to be in this movie. We have, obviously, Monica Rambeau is going to be in this movie. Whether they call her Spectrum or Captain Marvel, I guess, is still to be seen. And then, obviously, we'll have Brie Larson. I think they're going to try to phase her out, is really what I think they're going to do.
They could do that. Rogue is supposed to be in this, right?
And Rogue is allegedly confirmed to be in this movie, yes.
Allegedly. Okay. I'm a big Rogue fan, so if she's definitely in it, I'm probably gonna watch just because Rogue's in it. To be honest with you, because this could be one of those situations where I can literally see myself not watching this movie and then just like figuring out what the hell happened later on. But if Rogue's in it, that could be pretty cool because if Rogue is in it, then I feel it's basically guaranteed that she's gonna take a majority basically of Captain Marvel's powers, which would turn her into Miss Marvel. I think that's what's going to happen. Rogue's going to get her ability for flight and super strength and all that stuff. I feel that could happen, and that could be pretty. That could be interesting, pretty cool. But here's the thing, though, and as much as I love Rogue, and God, I love Rogue. Do you really want Rogue to be the first mainstream X-Men to be introduced?
Maybe she won't be. Maybe we'll get someone else along the line.
That before this happens, that somebody else will be introduced.
Technically, Scarlet Witch.
Well, no. I'm saying mainstream, actual X-Men member, not just like mutant. I mean, actual X-Men.
Okay.
Like when you think of X-Men, you don't really think of Scarlet Witch off the top of your head. You think of you could think of Rogue in certain cases, especially if you grew up in the '90s and you watched the cartoon. You could think of.
We're talking about like then we're talking about Claremont's run of X-Men.
We're talking about people who would you actually look at and say, "All right, this is X-Men."
The most recognizable team of Wolverine, Colossus, Rogue,
like a Charles,
Cyclops,
a Cyclops, a Jean. Wolverine. Obviously, the best choice would be Logan, but if you're not,
Justin and I were having a conversation about whether or not we think Logan is going to come in, and he is really leaning towards the way he thinks that things are going. That we're going to get X-23 before we get Logan in the MCU.
I would not like that.
I would not like that.
I would not like that. No.
He seems that's the way he's leaning. I don't know about that. I think Marvel would do the fan service of bringing Wolverine back.
That I freaking had with the Mortal Kombat movie. How the fuck you introduce Melina and you don't fucking introduce Katana?
Right.
What type of stupid shit is that? Right. So it'll be the same thing here, where it's like you introduce X-23, who's a fucking clone of Logan, but you don't introduce Logan.
Don't introduce Logan.
No,
and that's
so angry.
And he was like, well, they introduced Venom without Spider-Man technically, and I was like, yeah, they didn't have the rights though, right? So it was more like a now that Marvel or Disney, I guess, has the rights, they could do it. And I know there was another thing circulating that Hugh Jackman was expressing interest in coming back for Deadpool 3, and so we're seeing that rumor take the stage and start making its rounds. So of course now everyone's thinking that Wolverine versus Deadpool, and that would be an epic fight to see on the big screen. Let's not get that wrong. But
that's true. But
I don't know how true it is.
Argument with what your man was saying, because here's the biggest difference though. Venom is not a clone of Spider-Man.
Right.
X-23 is a flat-out clone of Logan. So that's a totally different thing. You can actually introduce Venom and not have to really actually explain Spider-Man that much in the grand scheme of things. But with X-23, her whole shit is Logan.
Right.
That's a whole different story. It's like with Melina and Katana. Melina is a flat-out clone of Katana. Mixed in with some Tarkatan blood. That's why she has her teeth. So if you can't have her there, and I know exactly what you're thinking, you can't have her there and not have Katana, and all you had was her damn her fan, and I'm just like, this is stupid. Like that was one of the things I didn't like about the movie, and that's something that I would be so pissed off, because to me, you can't introduce X-23 without Logan. You just can't.
I agree with you, Chris, 100%. Like, I don't think it would be X-23 before Logan. Like, I think Justin was just on some shit. But JBK's dad says, where's the love for Daken? Daken could be introduced in the Dark Avengers. There's still a toss-up of whether or not they're going to be doing Dark Avengers versus Thunderbolts.
That's a good one.
I mean, that'd be an excellent speculation for people to start picking up. Anything Dark Avengers, honestly, because Dark Avengers is so cheap right now, and if that is the route they go, like, I mean, even Dark Avengers #1 or like anything like that. Like the most I've ever seen it for is $10. You pick up a couple of those, and if it goes to $100 or whatever, I mean, you're in the green right there from a speculative point of view. But yeah, so but I don't know. They're obviously building a new team. Zemo's involved. All the people they sent to the raft are probably going to be involved. Elaine from Seinfeld is involved, so you know it's going to be.
You can't get past that, can you?
No, I can't. Anytime I see her in anything, I'm like, "What's Elaine doing in this?" Bro, it was just such like it's just one of those roles where like it doesn't matter what else you do, people are gonna look at you as that role. Like Harry Potter, for example. It doesn't matter what else Daniel Radcliffe does. He's a good actor. Don't get me wrong. He's done other great stuff. But every time you see him, you're like, oh, that's Harry Potter. But so it's like, it's the same kind of thing to me.
It's like the Tobey Maguire effect, right? Because he was saying that everybody always just saw him moving forward as Spider-Man.
Yeah, because of how incredibly popular that movie was. It's not a bad thing in particular. Because you were so successful, but because what drove you to that success is now what people are just going to recognize you as.
Right. It's like if you want to do any other role, the problem is now everybody's basically seeing you as that role.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I mean, again, not a bad problem. It's just like
to me, it wouldn't be a bad problem at all. I'll just be like, I'm just gonna keep doing Spider-Man movies, then, bro. I'm good.
Right.
One, I wouldn't mind being cast as Spider-Man permanently. I would be cool with that personally. I was like, I'm cool.
Yeah, like Hugh Jackman was permanently Wolverine. Like, it didn't matter.
Basically, yeah, he pretty much is. Yeah.
Yeah. So
we got my hopes that Wolverine shows up in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I mean,
I know he's not. But I still got hopes for a bunch of shit in my head to happen in that movie, and I'm pretty sure none of it's gonna happen. But I still got hopes.
Right. But since Seinfeld was #1 on television for 9 years, it was the greatest show in the 90s. There's really no debate. She will always be Elaine to me. So it's just that's just how it is. So Elaine is going to lead the Dark Avengers, and we're probably gonna have Kramer come up at some point. He's gonna be the villain. They're gonna be like, we gotta stop Kramer from saying the N-word so many times, and that's gonna be.
Oh my God! I knew you was gonna go there.
That's gonna be the.
You're right about that. Yeah,
that's gonna be the whole movie.
I'll be sitting the whole time waiting for somebody to kick his ass. Come on, series, go in there and put your foot up his ass. Somebody whoop his ass. It needs to be somebody from Wakanda. Blade, this is the perfect time for you to come in, bro. Come in now. Series,
Blade shows up and like chops him into a million pieces. That would be hilarious. Oh my gosh. JVK's dad says Norman Osborn will be the next big bad of the MCU. I've been waiting on Norman Osborn, man. I've been waiting for Normie to come in to the game, but
that's a good one.
I don't know when they're going to bring him in, honestly. But I'm still stacking first appearances of Norman Osborn. I must have like 10 or 15 at this point, and I'm just waiting.
He could play a big role in the Spider-Man movie.
He could. It would be perfect for him to just
end up being basically the last thing you see. He might. He don't even have to be an actual main villain. He could just be one behind things, and then like one of the end credits or something at the end, he shows up, and then that's just perfect.
And I would be hyped. That would be enough. That would be super dope. We don't even have to talk about him for a while, and then he shows up down the line.
Because me personally, I was thinking that the person you can have, and I love that one. I actually love what your man said. I love the Norman Osborn. But I was thinking that we can go with while you're also building Galactus, to have that person who's there being like the main villain out there while Galactus is doing his thing, because you can't have him show up all the time, would be since the Fantastic Four has been introduced. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Come
on.
No, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Say it again.
Since the Fantastic Four has been introduced, who's their main villain?
Doom.
Doom. Why
Doom,
not have
baby.
Dr. Doom as the guy who is basically the villain leading up to when Galactus finally gets gone, but have him be that guy? Because Dr. Doom, he's been done bad in all of the Fantastic Four movies, but everybody else has been too, so that doesn't really change anything. But Dr. Doom has been the one who, if you're looking at a main villain, it's him.
Yeah.
There's been many times when he was the big bad, and is a
Oh,
legit threat. And you're
he
like,
could.
dude,
Oh yeah,
I don't want Doom against me. I'd rather have him on my side.
on Earth, he could be a big threat. He could be a big threat in some of these movies with inner space. I mean, he definitely can travel. He's a crazy mad scientist. He's done time travel before, so he can be played into any of that kind of thing. And
he's smart enough to manipulate multiple situations.
Yeah. So I would be super down. I know that book has skyrocketed recently. It's at like 5,000 a point as far as graded copies go. It's ridiculous how expensive that book is. I have a second appearance that's probably the closest that I personally be able to get of Doctor Doom. But Doctor Doom is legitimately one of the best villains. Period. So for them to and that would be like we were saying earlier, how Galactus is a great villain, but he's not really a villain. He's just like self-sustaining. But we still need a actual villain, bro. Doom is an actual villain. Like he would definitely hold his own in whatever. And you could put him in any situation. Any situation, he could be the bad guy. So I think that having a multi-movie run with Doom would definitely. I mean, even. I could geek out forever about Doom because like he could team up with villains, he could go against villains like by himself, so it could just be him against his own villains. Like,
that's what I'm saying. He's been the big bad in pretty much a lot of things, even in video games. In Marvel Ultimate Alliance, Marvel Alliance, and then there's like Ultimate Alliance, but the second one. But either way, in Marvel Alliance, he's the big bad in that game. He's basically the one that puts everything together and gets this giant power up, and all of it makes sense because he uses his brain and his brawn, but he's smart. And he becomes basically the big bad, and Galactus is also a part of that too. But, you know, he's really the big bad wolf, and he's the main villain of that game. And it works perfectly. And he was so powerful, so smart, you had to get all of the other heroes to combine to stop him. You had to get Spider-Man, Hulk, the Avengers, Miss Marvel, and all those characters. And it was really cool when you picked a certain team. Like if you picked the Fantastic Four, you would get a bonus for picking that team. When you picked the Avengers and put them together, because you could put together a 4-man team of like whoever you wanted to. So if you put together like you know, the Avengers, you'll get like a bonus, and they'll say the Avengers. It was really cool. It's a fucking amazing game, dude. That's another game. Nice. You'll love that, superhero fan. But yeah, like he's just somebody you can have as that guy. And a little bit of Mortal Kombat here, you can even make just to have some fun. You can have a deadly alliance like Quan Chi and Shang Tsung. This time you can have it be Dr. Doom and Norman Osborn. That would be a cool odd couple team to go against.
Ooh, that would be dope.
Cool.
I think his first ever, the first ever villain team up was, you say villain, but was Dr. Doom and Namor, the Submariner. If I know that there have been rumors circulating or little hints dropped here and there that Namor shows up somewhere in the future. He does quickly turn on Dr. Doom, like, oh, this guy's crazy. And then, whatever. But it was still like the first villain team up. So that would be a really cool homage to have somewhere along the line. I think that would be dope.
What do you think about Namor? Because I always find the character to be like
I'm not interested in him at all.
He's an asshole.
Yeah, he really is. I like that part about him.
Asshole. And he's funny. I will say he's like unlike Captain Marvel, who I just found completely boring. He is funny because of how much of an asshole he is, because he'll say some things that's hilarious. And I love the fact, I'm not for sure if they ever flat out said it. I don't think they did, but I love the fact how there's like this running tension between him and Reed, because it's heavily implied that she cheated on Reed with Namor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But I don't think they flat out ever said that.
Got a dose of that Namor dick.
Those two always have in certain comic situations when they're together. And like, I can't remember which one it was, but she called him in, and Reed just stops what he's doing. He's like having this, he just stops what he's doing, talking to the heroes. He just walks over. What is he doing here? Right. And she's like, well, we need the help, so I called him in. He's like, why did you call him without telling me? Like, he's just so angry, and you don't see Reed like that.
She needed a dose. Yeah. She needed a dose of that deep sea dick, as there is really what it comes down to.
It's implied that, right?
Yeah, Namor has really never interested me, like as far as going to read a Submariner comic. Like,
it is boring.
Oh, but when he does show up here and there, like just the fact that he don't give a fuck about nobody, nothing except for like his cause, and so he is very blunt and blatant and about what he's there for or what his interests are. People, or even if they call for his help, if it doesn't benefit him in any sort of way, be like, nah, I'm good. But the world's about to end. Not my world. I'll see y'all later.
Not my problem. I'm good.
Ain't my problem, bro. So
until it actually starts fucking with Atlantis, I'm behind.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Good luck, guys. It's similar to except for I love this character. It's similar to Black Adam, where Black Adam's like, dude, I don't care what's really going on unless it affects my people. I really can give two shits what's happening around right now. Like, I love that. Except for I love Black Adam. I find Black Adam to be extremely interesting. I'm very excited for that movie? The movie with The Rock too.
Yeah.
Like I find him to be super interesting. But Namor, again, I'm with you. It's just boring. Like he's funny. What I like about Namor is when he's just there for a little while. When he shows up, be an asshole for a little while, then he's gone. Like, I get to chuckle. They'd be like, that was funny. Good old Namor, and I get the fuck out. Like, that's basically it. I can't, like, sustain reading, like, a Namor comic and just going through that stuff. He's just boring.
All right, so Namor is at his best when Namor tries to seduce Sue right in front of Reed, and the Namor Black Panther tension in Hickman's Avengers was great. Burns' Namor series was great, too. Oh, okay. What? I mean, you might think it's great. I'm just kidding. John Byrne is a good writer, so I mean, I don't know if I've read Byrne's Namor take or anything. I do like his tension with Reed. I do like Namor / Black Panther when they kind of go at it a little bit. But if just for me, just reading a Namor story like front to back or whatever, I'm probably gonna lose interest around issue. Probably page 2 of issue 1. That is probably where I'll start to lose interest.
Start falling asleep. It's like, this is enough. Right, this is enough. I mean, if you need a good nap, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, hell, man. Maybe after we finish, maybe I need to take a little nap. Tell me to read some Namor. Maybe I'll look up what he was saying, read a couple of issues of Namor, get a good sleep. They'll be right working.
Sleep with it right in your hand, and just wake up like, oh man, no, Namor was good for something.
It was good for something. Oh man.
So after the Marvel
it's gonna be good. What else too? Tell me to go wipe my ass. So yeah,
That's another thing. Okay, so one more thing about Namor, and then we're gonna move on. I hate the fact that comic-wise, Namor shows up multiple times. If we're just going from Silver Age, so just from the 60s onwards, Namor shows up
with some of the worst
Fantastic Four 4. Oh yeah, bro. How you gonna be a superhero and you just got that Speedo on? Like, I don't know, man. Like, bro, if I'm getting rescued and I can feel your dick, like, I don't know. I'm good with not being rescued, man. Like, this is just something suspect about being carried by a man with just a thong on. Like, I don't know how
he smells like fish. Like, he stinks too. He's like, Speedo. Bro, I don't like, come on, bro. That's terrible.
I'll be like, what's gonna be on the news later? All your friends go see like you being carried, like Superman carries Lois by a man with his green thong. Like, I'll be like, nah, bro, just leave me. I'll die.
Somebody else take me. Just let me die, bro. Like,
so comic wise, he shows up in Silver Age Fantastic Four #4, right? And then he has storylines with the Fantastic Four. Yeah. Then he has the Iron Man and Submariner like breakaway issues. So Iron Man was about to start his own series. Namor was about to start his own series, right? So they instead of, or I guess to bridge it, they had like Iron Man and Submariner #1. That book doesn't go for a lot of money, and then you have Namor or the Submariner #1, and that book is like, for some reason, everyone just loves that book and needs to have that book, even though like it's not even close to his first appearance in the Silver Age, not even his own first series, and is not even like, it's very strange. So it's really not a key at all, aside from the fact that it's just the Submariner #1.
Right.
So I've never had interest in that book. I've never really had interest in it anymore. I don't understand why people go crazy for that one, but whatever. That's just how I feel about that character. And other people may love him, but sales can prove you wrong.
Yeah, I
that
mean, he's not
he's
really
not a
that
high selling
little
comic
either.
book.
Like he has his obviously he has his fans, but
Even when the fight is in Antarctica, fucking Namor shows up in the green thong. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
exactly. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I couldn't even take him as a villain seriously. Like I would just be sitting there like, I can't lose to him. Like that would be like my only thing. I'm like looking across the room, like I can't lose to that guy. Like outside of that, I can't take him serious. Like
when you're going to pick teams and stuff, you're like,
right.
not that guy.
Not that guy. Like he's always picked last. Because again, he looks like a doofus and he smells like fucking fish. I don't want him on my team. Like he ain't standing next to me, bro. We taking a superhero team picture. Yo, I'm not standing nowhere near homie, bro. Like that, man.
Like, no, I'm gonna stand at the front. I'm sorry, Namor.
Exactly. I'm gonna stand over here with the bear. Like, nah, man, he ain't doing that, bro. But no, like,
shit. All right. Okay, so from the Marvels, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That's coming out in February of 2023. That is where we have Jonathan Majors as Kang, which I'm very excited about. Hopefully, we get a little Kang action in the Loki show, but nothing is promised these days with these shows. Just seem to be a cock tease for everything that you think is going to happen, and then none of that actually happens. So we'll see if we get any kind of hinting. It would make sense to bring him in there, but who knows? Being as he's already cast, like he was cast a while ago, and that movie's not coming out till 2023, makes me think that he's probably going to have something to do in the Loki show. But so we got that movie. It's Paul Rudd does an all right job as Ant-Man, right? I mean, nothing. The movies are amusing. It's nothing like I'm gonna go ahead and rewatch over and over again, but I'll throw it on here and there. Just to, I'm not gonna skip it when I'm doing a marathon like I would skip some of the other ones. I'm not.
I agree. Do you think they're ever gonna go down that storyline where he's beating his wife?
No, Hank Pym storyline. No, they're not going to bring that to the mainstream. Dude,
do you
come
think
on.
They're ever going to go down the storyline where the Hulk eats her?
Where the Hulk eats who?
No, I don't think it's the Hulk who eats her. It's somebody else who eats her. Who was the villain who ate her? I think it was in the Ultimate Universe.
I was like, what? Damn.
God, I hope if somebody can remember that. I can't believe I'm forgetting this. It's in the Ultimate.
That's why they gave Namor the black costume when he appeared in Spidey Super Stories. You can't teach kids to trust a dude in a green Speedo when he shows up to help. That's bad.
Not at all. Yo, you can find out. Remind me. I'm pretty sure it was in the Ultimate Universe, man. Okay. It was somebody who ate her.
I can't remember it. I don't remember that at all. Oh, the Blob ate her, apparently. The Blob.
The Blob. Yes, that's who it was. Yes, it was the Blob. Yes, thank you. I cannot believe I forgot that. But yeah, do you think they're going to do that?
No. I don't think that's going to happen, Chris. I don't think the Hulk's going to eat her. I don't think the Blob's going to eat her. I don't think any of that's going to happen. Ant-Man might eat her out, but other than that, I don't think anything's going to happen. Well,
no, I would think he's already done that.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that they've had their fun. But yeah, so that'll probably be a fun movie, probably be amusing, have some laughs, a good a good feel good movie. Probably nothing dark is going to happen in that movie, I would assume. They might go dark, I don't know, but I have a hard time believing that they would. They haven't in the last two.
Thank you for reminding me of that one, because I cannot believe I forgot that. I cannot believe I forgot that one. Like, oh my God, that was such a crazy moment when I saw that. I was like, oh my God. Well, she's dead.
Well, we lost her.
All right.
Then in 2 years from now, 2 years from pretty much today, we will be watching Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which is also coming from the beautifully twisted mind of James Gunn. So we get to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I don't think there's been too much confirmed for that movie, other than it'll probably have a lot to do with Rocket. I think they were talking about bringing in the High Evolutionary. to that one. But it is 2 years down the line, so who knows? Stuff can change. A lot can go right or wrong with that movie. That way, I know we're obviously going to get a lot more celestial stuff. They're going to be in space, traveling around. So whatever space wise is going down, that's when we can probably piece together a little more as we get closer as to what's been going on before to what's going to go down in that movie.
Yes.
And then from there, we get the last announcement of Fantastic Four with no date. It's just the number 4 was thrown in there. Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's big time right there. Wow.
Kang is the bad guy in the next Ant-Man movie. That doesn't seem right. I don't know. I mean, we could. He could be the. I don't think they're. I don't know. I don't see Ant-Man taking down Kang by himself. No. So it could probably just be setting him up as more of a bad guy than already like he has been made out to be. Kang has a lot of storylines with Fantastic Four, so maybe they're going to be leading into Kang and Fantastic Four stories. He does. I mean, Kang. I love Kang because Kang goes around making versions of himself to self-sustain himself. Like he literally will create a version of himself just for one specific task or purpose to better help himself in a future like version of himself. Like it's the craziest thing, but I love it a lot, and it would be fun to see Kang do some time traveling with the Fantastic Four, whether he sends them back or whatever, like he did in his first appearance, which is Ramatut, Fantastic Four 19, which is actually a year before we actually get Kang. He something about the cure for blindness, which is a funny little throwback with the Deadpool movie.
Yeah.
I think it was like he leaves something saying that there's the cure for blindness in this time, and then they go to look for it, or the Thing wants to look for it for Alicia.
Yes.
And then they run into Ramatut, and Ramatut's like, "Aha, I knew you guys would come," or something like that. Like that, it's just it's silly.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah, gotcha, bitch. It's some silliness like that that goes down, but I mean, basically, he goes back to the time of the Egyptians, and then ends up a pharaoh. Like he's just like, boom, I'm badass, bitch. Like I lead a whole people now. We won't get into how many people I'm sure he enslaved, but that's that's its own story.
Yes.
But he was evil. He's a bad guy. So that is another one that's like a legitimate, like bad.
Yes.
That you could see as like a big bad. I think Kang, Doom, because Kang uses a lot of Doom's technology.
Yeah.
So Kang time traveling. I mean, the first time that he ever time traveled was using one of Doom's time travel machines. So,
and see, that's why Doom will be like my biggest vote for like he should be the guy. He should be the big bad, and then Galactus can be something in there, but he should be the big bad leading up to Galactus or whatever. And that's another thing what you could do too. If you have Kang show up in the Wasp movie, or whatever, the Ant-Man and Wasp movie, you can also have Dr. Doom make a cameo. He could be the first person from the Fantastic Four who's introduced, because he can be like, "Yo, your technology or something messed up or right or whatever." And you can have Doom just be just there talking to him for a little bit. Like you can do, there's so many things you can do that could be cool, because you don't have to wait to the Fantastic Four movie to introduce those guys. They can show up in somebody's movie,
of course,
and build up even more hype to when their movie comes out.
Right.
Because even if it's an origin story, even though we've seen that so many times, but they're probably going to do it again. Even if it's that, you can still have the Fantastic Four in the future show up. This can just be basically a prequel to what happened to whatever movie they showed up in.
Yeah.
Or at least the beginning part of it can be. Where it's a quick recap of how they got their powers, and then you can go back to present time. You can easily do that.
Oh, for sure. There's so many different ways that you can introduce these characters and have them sustain. And Ant-Man beating Kang is not going to happen. Like that it's like it could be like where he staves him off for a little bit, but like you're going to end the movie
to make him go back to whatever time he came from.
exactly. Or be like, okay, well, let me just do something real quick and fix this problem of like
Right,
of
right.
Ant-Man, and then he goes back and creates something like thousands of years ago, a version of him
Mhm.
that creates something that makes him more powerful to not even that Ant-Man is not even a factor anymore.
Exactly.
Uh, so I'm so excited for some of these characters coming through.
I am
Obviously,
too.
there are movies that we're not as excited for,
No.
but you know, there are movies that we are very excited for, and of course, all of it seeming to lead into Fantastic Four as like the end of this particular phase is super dope because the Avengers was like the end of the first phase, right? The first Avengers movie was the end of that first phase. So all of this building to
Up to
Fantastic Four, which you know is going to be like a global level event. Whatever goes down, it's going to be on the scale of Avengers 1.
I will
So like
say
that.
this, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about it. Because I got a lot of deep things I can go into. Maybe we'll get into a little next week. But I will say this real quick. They got a lot of hype going on this Fantastic Four movie that kind of concerns me a little bit, though. It's going to get built up so much,
It
and I
is.
really pray and hope that it don't end up being like the last Fantastic Four movies we saw.
There's no way. There's no way because Fox was garbage. So it's been
Mhm.
rescued out of the hands of Fox.
Okay.
Fox couldn't make a movie to save their life. It seemed like so. So it's out of 20th Century Fox, thank goodness, and into the correct hands of Disney and the
Okay.
mouse and trying to piss nobody off because he's the mouse.
Yeah, you don't want to piss Mickey off, bro. Ask the Jonah brothers. You don't play that shit, man. Mickey don't play, bro. Mickey don't play.
Ask who? The Jonas
The
Brothers?
Jonah brothers. It's an episode in South Park where Mickey,
Uh,
the Jonah brothers weren't doing what they were supposed to, so they called in the boss, and Mickey rolled up in there. He's like, "What's going on?" Oh, and he starts beating the crap out of them. It is one of the funniest episodes ever. And when Mickey gets angry, he transforms into the giant Mickey parade float
oh my
and
god.
starts shooting fire and bringing down everything and destroying buildings and like just raining terror on everything. And they're just like, well, Mickey done lost it again. There's nothing we can do to stop it. So eventually he'll calm down and just tire out. But until then, sorry for
That's
whoever
awesome.
dies. It's one of the funniest episodes ever. Mickey is hilarious, yeah. You don't want to piss off the mouse.
Kang could turn into Iron Lad, true. Join Cassie in the Young Avengers. Yeah, so there is a connection there where Kang does, play his little hero part as Iron Lad. And he is with Cassie, with the Young Avengers. So there is that piece as well. So maybe we see that instead of what we're thinking right now, where Kang is going to be like the big bad of the thing. Maybe we're going to see more of the Young Avengers play. That's actually, I didn't even think about that until he just put it that way.
That's a really good one right there. This man's on fire right here.
This
That's
dude
a really
is
good one.
bringing the heat with that.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. And but I will say we have to wrap it up. We've been on an hour and a half. But you can catch us here every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern for our awesome podcast where we just chill and talk about everything pop culture. And
yeah, for sure. At least next week, because again, I'm still working on videos because of work. I haven't been able to pop out the videos I want to, but I'm gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I go on vacation soon, so I'm looking very forward to that. So I'll be able to pop out more videos, and I can be away from the smart for a little while. And I'm extremely happy about that. God knows I need it. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And next week is gonna be we're gonna talk some anime stuff too. I got some stuff I want to hit you with some anime stuff, and I want to talk about Blade next week too because we got nothing on Blade, and I kind of got a little issue with that. So we'll talk about that next week.
But that's kind of good news for me because I can keep buying Blade. I finally got his first appearance, and I picked up another set of his second and third appearance together. Actually, Saturday I went to a small show, so I was pretty excited about that. I'm still able to sneak some of those through people, especially second and third appearance for pretty cheap right now. And then once there is a lot of Blade hype, because that Blade hype is coming, because we've already talked about how Blade is the reason that Marvel still exists. Is really if you want to come down to it, like that is facts.
That Blade movie did very well.
Yeah,
it was ahead of their time too.
Yep. So I am excited to talk with you more about Blade, and maybe we'll read some Blade stories going into that, and then we can discuss that. But guys, we will see you next week. As always, I will tell you to stay villainous and
fuck the Fantastic Four.